design an application for toy car controller. So, what was the most interesting part in the whiteboarding exercise?
Oh, lots of changing from car to helicopter, then helicopter to a drone, and then drone to Amazon delivery. Especially the last, the Amazon delivery person kind of experience.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Oclid TV. Today, we are going to do a special episode of mock interview. Ganesh is going to do a whiteboarding. Welcome, Ganesh, to our new episode.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on the show. Hey, hi everyone. This is Ganesh. I work as a senior product designer at Noon, which is based out of UAE. And I think I've been in the industry for almost like more than 5 years. So before Noon, I was working with Misho. And I think before Misho, I was working with Book My Show. Even I think Praveen was there. So we both worked together at Book My Show. And I think that was also very interesting because we were working in pandemic.
All right, Ganesh. So, today we have a whiteboarding mock interview, and your prompt is design an application for toy car controller.
I think we are sort of trying to change that physical remote controller kind of experience to more of a digital controller uh, where a kid can actually use this application and control their car while they are playing, right?
Yeah, that's a fair assumption. But toy can be used by an adult also. There are
Got it.
competitions where toy car, remote control toy car racing competitions also there.
Understood. Got for the sake of simplicity, can we right now just focus on the kids part? Because I think adult will also include one more persona. We can go deep into that once we have some idea on the kids side of it.
Yeah, that makes sense for the interest in time.
Like I would sort of like when I hear about this problem, I would more think on of a mobile application, mobile slash let's say tab applications, right? Okay, so Praveen, can you help me understand a bit more about users? Who are these like who will be the target users for this application? Where like what would be the age group of these kids who would be sort of playing this toy car?
4 years to 14 years.
Generally there would be also a person who is helping them, like more like a kid, more like a parent or some kind of older person who is helping them. Will that be also part of? I think that will be also part of the experience for the users. And is there any specific geography you want me to focus on, or it can be a universal product?
Let's focus on the Indian users.
Like these kids we are focusing more on like a metro kind of kids, or like it's also for like other a tier 2 tier 3 market as well.
So you can take a call based on who can purchase these kind of toys more.
Got it. Understood. Okay. So I think just for this sort of prompt, like my assumption would be more on the like a metro city, like tier 1, tier 2, tier 1, tier 2 kind of kids where they have and like who can sort of go and buy these products. So I will not proficient with reading as such. Before especially for like the smaller kids, right? Smaller kids, those things would be there. I was assume have a uh physical controller. You have a physical controller, which is like let's say I think a battery based controller. Uh, and generally when you just turn on the controller. Generally, when you turn on the control, it will automatically sort of detect detect the car and you are playing with it, right? So basically, it's like one controller, one one controller for one car. Okay, problems for users, right? So there are three things basically. User wants to like how can user can move a car forward, backward. That would be one thing. Direct changing a direction and then tracking the speed of car. And these are basic things which user would sort of want to control. Okay, so if I have to break it down the user's journey, like you install the app, then you connect the app to the car, and then you start controlling and playing and start playing the car. So I think these would be three critical steps. So I think let's start with the first thing. I think installing the app, again, I am not going deep into installing the app. I think the assumption here is that people know how to install the app. I think the primary design intervention would start in connecting and then controlling the app. So let's start with actually connecting the app, right? So maybe one easiest thing you for the user, which I mentioned, I think because these are kids, maybe they are not super proficient with reading or typing things. So for these, if I keep those target users in mind, I think the simplest solution comes to my mind is like some kind of a scanning kind of experience where, let's say you have a QR code which is printed on the box, and user just need to sort of scan that QR code to connect to the app, right? Okay. Quickly go and just scan the QR code on the box, and then just automatically the application will automatically connect car to the interface. I think that's one solution I'm thinking, right? These are kids, so generally the hand they would have a smaller hands. It will be difficult for them to sort of reach to like across the phone. Like nowadays the phones are very big. A way of controlling car from the both the hands would be more of a landscape. So I would take that input from like that user insight that these are like small hand for like kids have a small hand, and they would be actually using both the hands to control the car. So for that, I think the landscape mode of kind of an interface would make a lot of sense for, I think, rather than having a portrait mode. The basic thing they would need is some kind of controller to move forward and backward, right? So I'm just thinking from the like a real life example. You This would be like just a starting point. Then user can move the car, like user can move a car forward and backward based on these two things. Basically, they can increase the speed and decrease the speed using up and down arrows, and then use left and right arrows to sort of change the direction. Again, I would want to keep it more visual because of, again, the target users, which are more kids, and for them, like the actual text might not be super intuitive. I'm also thinking if there could be a functionality, like there is, let's say, a kind of a camera on a car which gives them a view, like car view, uh, which is visible. Like basically, then this becomes a more immersive way for user to interact with the car. Rather than looking at the car, user can actually just see where the car is moving and going, right? So the car view could also be super important. One way of controlling car could also be just more of a gestures, just mimicking your actual car, actual car driving experience, right? So I think there, just thinking maybe for changing direction, because I think, again, this is super critical. There are like generally user wouldn't want to control a lot of things from buttons, because clicking buttons is again super tough to in the car kind of experience where you're actually driving it faster. So I'm also thinking of more like a tilt control, like motion control. Like generally new mobile phones have your motion controlling functionality, right? So it's more of like you can control the direction using the tilt of your mobile phone. One function I think which I think is important would be like like just giving a sense of speed. So speedometer would be there, and I think again I was just this is again a side feature which might be helpful, which is like a battery percentage.
What will come inside that rectangle car view?
Okay, so I think I was more thinking on this like camera, like car camera.
Mhm.
Uh, like your car has a camera which is giving you a basically it's a view. If you have been sitting in the car, you will get some view, right? I think it would be that kind of view.
Now
Yeah.
think of it as a helicopter instead of a toy car. Think it is as
Okay.
a toy helicopter. Now, how will you change this interface?
Got it. Okay. Interesting. Helicopter is a totally different game. Okay. Uh, okay. I have never actually even tried controlling a helicopter. So I'm just thinking. Just give me a few seconds. I'm just thinking what would be
Sure.
different. Okay. Even for helicopter, so I think few things would definitely be common for. I think mostly these things. I think, and then finally it would be like bringing down. bringing down and stopping. And these would be critical functionalities for helicopter to sort of go. I think so. In case of helicopter, again, I think I would say camera view becomes super important because now helicopter would be sort of flying in the sky. You might not actually have the visibility of helicopter all the time. So camera view becomes super important, I would say. Okay, you have a camera view. Uh, Okay, I think then as a second point, like lifting the ground would be there. So I think there would be some kind of a controller which is helping me to basically control the altitude. That would be first important. Like that would be the major way how a helicopter would get controlled. So I'm just kind of making a altitude controller. Basically this is your this will basically control the height. Like you start with from the zero, like which okay, we'll just write it down. Ground. You start from ground level, and then this is like your max height. I think changing directions. So see, what I think is in the car, you generally have roads or a track in which you are actually driving the car. So your your direction changes are more like a left, right, or slightly left, slightly right. But because now you have a open sky in which you can control the helicopter, uh, I don't like this strict left and right kind of controller. I think does not make a lot of sense. Instead of more of a flexible controller might make more sense. So when I say flexible controller, I'm thinking more on the like a joystick kind of a controller where I have more flexibility around where I can move my helicopter, right? So I think this would be there. I think camera view would be super important. Speed, again, I think I'm just not sure, but okay, I think speed can also, I think just thinking, this can also add a value. Like generally just helping a user at what speed they are going. Maybe if it's a kind of competition sort of scenario, then definitely the speed would become a very critical, important for users to sort of understand. So actually having a good understanding of how much battery is left, so that I don't lose my helicopter by falling it somewhere, will become super important. So I think so this would be the more few things. Yeah, so Praveen, I think this is how I would sort of change my controller design for a helicopter, where you have more of a altitude, go up and down things, and then a joystick to control, and then these two informations. Do you think anything else could be sort of important for the helicopter?
The user is somewhere and the helicopter is missing. So how will the user
Mhm.
find the helicopter?
So very valid use case that if I lose my helicopter, how do I go and find about it, right? Okay, yeah, that you have a button here, which actually just toggle between a camera view and a map view.
Yeah, if you have to show both the camera view and map view together, how will you show that?
Mhm. Got it. Understood. Okay. Yeah, camera view and you have map view. I think one way could be just having a split view. Uh, by split view, what I mean is like you basically split the screen and keep it parallel to each other. Uh, this could be one way that in one view you are just seeing your helicopter being flown, and on the other side here is your camera. Uh, right, here is your camera and here is your actual map view, and you can track your camera, sorry, your helicopter from this. I think this could be one way. I mean, again, think it depends a bit on the camera, on the screen real estate. Uh, but again, I think one thing we can do is like we can actually sort of also give user flexibility on what kind of view they want to focus, right? So maybe they want to just focus more on the camera view, so the map view sort of gets smaller, and then your camera view gets bigger, and then vice versa. I think that could be one way. If I've lost my helicopter, then I think the way I'm thinking of is like some sort of a GPS sort of solution, where it tells that this is your helicopter and this is like your location, and maybe like provide some, like maybe just provides a bit about like a direction. Not this is your location and this is like helicopter location. If I just think specifically about that use case when actually it is lost, um, maybe you don't like, if it's actually already lost, you cannot control the helicopter, right? And finding your helicopter becomes the primary goal. So maybe the interface just focuses on finding the helicopter and just removes the clutter, and just shows the minimum information which is required. And then I think we can use this entire space to even actually just navigate, like, so basically when I think like start navigation kind of thing, and then it actually uh, takes me or directs me to my actual helicopter location, right? So I think okay, I'm thinking more of a bars, using bars to actually communicate the battery percentage. And I think one interesting thing also could be that we use different colors. So when my battery is full, it's green, it's actual green. But let's say if my battery is draining and it's just like, okay, last 10%, up 10%, then I actually make it red so that the attention goes there that my battery is about to die. I think again I'm going back to the OG Google Maps here. I think they do the navigation bit very like pretty interestingly. So generally, I think things are like it's more on like, okay, arrows. Okay, you have like, okay, in this case, if I have to sort of take like go straight, go forward, I think just a visual again would might not be the best solve here. But like accompanying text uh with some kind of visual would be a more better way to go, because then I think it gives me a clear direction what I'm doing, right? So maybe it's like 50 meters straight, uh,
Mhm.
accompanying a text with a visual, something on these lines. I would say I would sort of go with this kind of thing. Like you have an arrow actually telling where you have to move, but also it's actually tells me that you have to move 50 meters straight, and then from there you have to take a left and you have to take a right. That kind of thing, I think I would sort of do. I think you reach the helicopter, and I think here it would be more. I think it's more of a success state. A success state. I'm just taking inspiration from that. So it would be more of like I don't know, a sort of tickma kind of thing. Uh, that you have reached the helicopter more on this kind of line, right? Something on these lines. I
Okay.
think I think the idea I was talking about is also including voice,
All right.
uh maybe actually telling user that you have reached the helicopter, and like if voice is also a functionality which we build into this app, right? So that, yeah.
What are the crazy add-ons you can think, or what are the possibilities for this interface you can think?
Okay, so I think again this is again, I have seen this booming out recently in the industry and everywhere. um like we have drones everywhere nowadays. I mean, obviously there have been like I think the use case which I have seen regularly being used is that you have camera drones to shoot a concert or for surveillance, right? Those kind of use cases are definitely there. But I think the more interesting use case which I have sort of seeing popping out right now is the use of drones for actual daily purposes, right? Maybe delivery or even in agriculture. And one of the challenge I feel, or I have sort of seen, is the cost of these drones. And I'm paralleling drones and helicopters because I guess they sort of work on similar principle. The functionalities would be sort of similar, right? So this kind of interface can easily be sort of replicated to that kind of device as well, right?
Let's say Amazon is using a drone which is delivering products. So, what are the
Yeah.
additional things you will add to this interface?
So now I think in this case, it like few things I like as a user I would know that what is the destination address. So I would know the destination address. I think in that case, I would know the origin and destination. So I would have a more detailed map view to that particular destination, and maybe a ETA and time of arrival and those things would be helpful for a person who is delivering this. So I think that is something I would sort of add. One critical thing which I feel during delivery is that actually making sure that the person the order is getting delivered to the right person, right? So I think which is like at the time of delivery. So I think I would focus more on the time of delivery. How do I make sure that the delivery is getting to a right person, right? So there could be, so I think few things. One would be actually notifying or calling a person, calling the customer that your order will be there in next 5 minutes or next 10 minutes, right? So that the customer is ready at its doorstep, at their doorstep, to take the order. That could be one thing. So just it's just from the safety perspective that my delivery is going to a right person. I don't know, maybe some kind of a authentication mechanism that like generally you ask for OTPs right nowadays, right? So maybe your drone has a microphone, and then when the customer gets the order, the customer has to uh, talk the OTP, and then you enter the OTP on the interface so that the customer can also send. You can also see that enter the OTP is getting entered, and then you submit, and then your delivery gets successful, right?
What are the things you will do next time to prepare for a better whiteboarding session?
If I had to just take this challenge again, I think few things I would maybe I might sort of change is that um, I think first of all having let's say a kind of a UI kit with me so that I can just quickly bring the elements from it and then arrange it here so that actually I can give a sense of how the UI would look it.
Awesome. So what was the most interesting part in the whiteboarding exercise?
Oh, lots of changing from car to helicopter, then helicopter to a drone, and then drone to Amazon delivery. That was, I think, I would say that was the interesting part, especially the last, the Amazon delivery person kind of experience.
Cool. Awesome. That was very interesting and we had a lot of fun. And I hope you also had a
Definitely,
lot of fun. And
yeah,
good.
it was
Thank you so
amazing.
much. Stay tuned with Oclid TV. Have a nice day. Bye bye. What do you think about this video? Let me know in the comment section below.
Like, share, and subscribe for more fun insights.